Clash at the Castle sent a lot of WWE storylines in crazy new directions. So we'll take a look at some of the biggest new changes to many stories, including the Mysterios, the Bloodline, and much more. Let's start things off with the long-awaited moment between the Mysterios. Dominik Mysterio first came into the WWE scene at the defense of his father, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was getting brutally assaulted by Seth Rollins' faction at the time, and it was Dominik who put it all on the line and put himself in harm's way for his father. He jumped right in there with Seth Rollins to defend his father, and things just took off right after that. Rey and Dominik would become the first ever father-son duo to win the tag team titles and have so much success. But then in fall 2021, we got the first few teases that Dominik was getting a little tired of his father, constantly overprotecting him during matches and always getting in the way of his business. Dominik started telling Rey to stay backstage and stay out of the way. Dominik even started using some heel tactics that Rey didn't strongly approve of, and it led everyone to believe back then that a heel turn was imminent. WWE ended up pressing the brakes on that storyline, and tension between the Mysterios settled back down until SummerSlam 2022. SummerSlam 2022 was the beginning of the end for the Mysterios. SummerSlam saw the return of Edge, who assisted the Mysterios in fighting off the Judgment Day. Rey Mysterio instantly accepted Edge's help and friendship after SummerSlam, but it was Dominik who was still very unsure and skeptical over Edge's true intentions, especially after what Edge was saying during his time in the Judgment Day. Dominik just had a very hard time believing that they were supposed to fully trust Edge and let their guards down, and understandably so. Dominik had a fair point. Edge was just this ruthless heel leader of a dangerous faction earlier in the year, and we were supposed to forget that because they kicked him out and he came back a few months later. Dominik's trust issues with Edge was fully valid. He had reasons to fully feel that way about Edge. But it was Rey that assured Dominik Edge could be trusted and how he knew him for over 20 years. That's of course the moment that Dominik hit Rey Mysterio with the big line that he's known his own son for 25 years. Obviously longer than his friendship with Edge. And now that we know the payoff, you can go back and really see this storyline building up and unfolding. Even with Edge by the Mysterio side, Dominik Mysterio would constantly get captured and beaten by the Judgment Day. So in Dominik's eyes, everything is going wrong and he's extremely frustrated. His father has forgotten about him. His father continues to take Edge's side every chance he can, and neither Rey nor Edge have been able to stop the beatdowns he's been receiving from the hands of the Judgment Day. Even though Dominik eventually sucked it up and made peace with Edge, there was still this internal conflict going on there. Like on the Raw before Clash, where Dominik came out to attack Judgment Day with his father and Edge. There was this moment where he strangely almost surrendered to Rhea Ripley. Follow that up at Clash with the big final payoff of the long-awaited heel turn. Even during the entrances, you can still see the minor pieces of storytelling starting to unfold. Rey Mysterio is making his entrance for this huge match. He's leaning against the barricade with fans, making his grand entrance, and Dominik is just standing there on the ramp, just watching. And that's not how Dominik usually is. He's usually very involved with a big smile on his face, greeting the fans as well. But not much of that during this specific entrance. Then Edge comes out with his own Rey Mysterio inspired mask, and everyone is just having a good time, except Dominik. Dominik has been complaining that Rey has been picking Edge's side non-stop over the last few weeks. And now, Dominik is looking on from the ring apron in street clothes, while his father competes in a tag team match without him. With Rey literally replacing Dominik's spot in this tag team match with Edge. So after Rey Mysterio and Edge are victorious in this match against the Judgment Day, Dominik steps into the ring and low blows Edge. Dominik never trusted Edge since he returned, and now seeing Edge literally take his spot alongside his father in a tag team match was enough to send him over the hill and finally attack Edge. Then after Rey Mysterio tried to calm down Dominik hit his own father with a clothesline, officially marking the beginning of Dominik's heel turn. Attacking Edge was actually something understandable for Dominik to do, but attacking his own father was a moment that was definitely dark and marked the very moment that Dominik turned fully heel and couldn't turn back. So a lot of fans have been asking that if Dominik was gonna turn, why didn't he help the Judgment Day win? The answer to that is that Dominik was so concerned about directly helping the Judgment Day. His main issue was the principle of his father replacing him and neglecting him. So he took all the frustration out on the two individuals who he felt caused him the most issues, and that was Rey Mysterio and Edge. Now, can the Judgment Day try to slowly move in and recruit Dominik Mysterio to join them, now that he broke away from his father? Sure they can. They were trying to recruit Dominik to join them since before SummerSlam. So could this be the moment that makes them interested in trying to get him back in to join the group? So now it all comes down to what the heel version of Dominik will look like and what he wants to do. He can either stay on his own and decide to do his own thing, or maybe he does try to take the Judgment Day up on that offer again. The recent split also means that a premium live event match between Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio is now a realistic possibility. So that father versus son match would be pretty mind-blowing to see. A match like that is already interesting as is, but add a storyline to it and it really becomes even more interesting. So it's going to be great to hear Dominik explain himself more, to see what big move he makes now that he's officially no longer under his father's wing in WWE. Speaking of Clash at the Castle, the main event of the night between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre pulled fans in and took them for a big ride. There were so many close calls and false finishes that really just had the fans fooled for moments there in the match. The biggest rumor heading into this match was, of course, the outside interference. Tyson Fury was at ringside. The threat of Austin Theory cashing in was there. Karrion Kross and Scarlett were at ringside. Rumors of Bray Wyatt possibly returning were in the air. There was just so many rumors, theories, and possibilities that no one knew what to expect. Theory did run down the ramp in an attempt to cash in his Money in the Bank contract for the second premium live event in a row, but was taken out by Tyson Fury. So for the second time in a row, Austin Theory just hit a roadblock at the last second. They probably were trying to build a narrative and explanation there that Theory will always run into trouble trying to cash in, but when we least expect it, he'll finally cash it in. Karrion Kross got involved by distracting Drew McIntyre during this match as well. He'll likely continue his feud with Drew after this event. And the other big narrative that WWE was stressing was the idea that Roman Reigns was all alone at Clash at the Castle. No help from the Usos and no guidance from Paul Heyman. Just on his own with no one. That narrative ended up being set up for the arrival of Solo Sikoa. Solo has been rumored for weeks to be coming to Smackdown, and he's officially in the Bloodline. Solo stopped the referee from counting Drew McIntyre's 3-count pinfall, and literally saved Roman's title reign from ending. Solo will now instantly have a great spot in the Bloodline, since he saved Roman and pulled him out of the scariest title defense of his entire reign so far. So expect Solo Sikoa to come in and be a new brutal force for the Bloodline to have at their disposal at all times. Right when everyone was writing Roman off, he strengthens his group with a new family member. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.